When two people are genuinely built for each other, there is a single pattern that shows up every single time, without exception. So many of us grew up absorbing the idea that fate is smooth, that it feels like ease and instant joy, like a fairy tale where two people simply lock eyes and the rest falls into place on its own. We picture life getting simpler once we find the one, obstacles vanishing, and love showing up without a fight. But real fate has never worked that way. Genuine destiny opens with chaos, with upheaval, with struggles that seem to make no sense at the time. The universe isn't in the business of handing you love gently. It puts you through trials first. It dismantles the false things you believed, reshapes the person you are, and demands that you grow as an individual long before any real union can exist. That pattern never breaks. Welcome back to Never Give Up. If you're new here, take a second to subscribe, tap the bell, and turn on all notifications because every single video on this channel is designed to shift your perspective and change the way you think. A relationship that's truly meant to be doesn't start with ease or with a sense of peace. It begins with recognition, a strange and often disorienting kind of awareness. The very first clue that someone belongs in your life isn't a wave of calm or reassurance. It's a jarring, uneasy recognition. You meet this person, and something deep inside you reacts before your conscious mind can even catch up. It's a sensation of being fully seen, and that sensation rattles you because fate has a habit of shaking the very foundation you've built your inner world on. When you cross paths with someone who's meant for you, that first encounter is almost never peaceful. Security might feel out of reach, and certainty might feel like a distant idea, but that unease is precisely what destiny feels like in its early stages. It isn't unsettling because the person is wrong for you. It's unsettling because they mirror back the parts of yourself you've buried, avoided, or refused to look at. These kinds of encounters force you to confront your fears, your insecurities, and the patterns that have kept real intimacy out of reach. Most of us have been taught to equate love with steadiness and predictability, yet fate often shows up more like a storm, knocking you off balance and leaving you shaken as a reminder that growth always has to come before togetherness. One of the strangest parts of a fated connection is why these two people so rarely end up together right away. Life has a way of pulling them apart, and it's not out of cruelty. It's out of necessity. That separation isn't random, it's deliberate. It happens because one or both people are still carrying wounds that haven't healed. Maybe one is terrified of being emotionally exposed, while the other is fighting a battle with their own sense of worth. Sometimes what looks like love is really being offered out of fear instead of wholeness. Even when the intentions are good, two people who are still incomplete can end up wounding each other. In these situations, the universe intervenes with a message that couldn't be clearer. Not yet. It waits, patiently, for growth, self-awareness, and maturity to shape the hearts that will eventually find their way to one another. A destined love is patient, it's relentless, it's transformative. It asks you to look at yourself with total honesty, no shortcuts, no distractions allowed. Every hard moment, every heartbreak, every stretch of uncertainty is part of the groundwork being laid. The universe pulls you apart to show you what you actually need, to teach you how to love without clinging or expecting something in return. When the timing finally lines up, everything comes together in a way that feels effortless. But that ease only arrives after you've been molded into someone capable of holding on to that kind of love. This is the part of destiny most people never see. It shapes you first. It tests you first. It strengthens you first, before it ever hands you the reward, making sure that when the connection finally comes, it's built to last instead of fading out. Understand this fully. Real destiny is never about a quick fix or instant gratification. It's not a flash of ease or comfort that appears out of nowhere. It's a process, a long unfolding of awareness, disruption, distance, and self-discovery. So when someone unsettles you, when life circumstances seem to be actively keeping you apart, don't panic. That's a sign fate is doing its job, preparing you for something worth every bit of the wait. A love that changes you instead of just comforting you. Stay grounded, stay open, trust the timeline you can't fully see. When two people are truly meant for one another, the universe will eventually bring their paths back together and they'll arrive stronger, wiser, and finally ready for a love built to endure. If it came too soon, it would only end up damaging what was supposed to last. That separation isn't a mistake. It's part of the blueprint. When two people who are meant for each other get pulled apart, the pain feels nothing like an ordinary breakup. It's heavier than sadness or simple longing. It's a feeling of being off balance, out of alignment. You're not just missing them, it feels like a piece of you is physically gone. That's because these kinds of connections were never rooted in comfort or in ego to begin with. They're tied directly to your growth, your evolution, and the parts of yourself you still haven't faced. Losing this person forces you to look straight at your fears, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds, and every pattern that's kept you from becoming whole. That pain touches every corner of who you are. It puts you face to face with your fear of being abandoned, your need for approval from others, and the ways you may have given away too much of yourself just to hold on to someone's affection. It shows you exactly where you avoided taking emotional responsibility and where you gave without ever setting real boundaries. This isn't a punishment. It's an awakening. The universe uses this discomfort to hand you clarity, to push you toward brutal honesty with yourself, and to make you confront the very habits that have been blocking you from real connection. Destined love was never meant to feel gentle. It's meant to transform you, even in the silence, even before its purpose becomes visible to you. Here's the part that catches people off guard. Even after the separation, even with zero contact, even when logic is screaming at you to move on, something inside you starts shifting anyway. That growth happens quietly, almost without you noticing. You become sharper, more discerning, more emotionally honest with yourself. Behaviors you used to tolerate start feeling completely wrong, and the people you used to chase suddenly lose their grip on you. What you want starts moving away from shallow attention and toward real depth, real meaning, real authenticity. You probably won't even connect this inner shift back to them directly, and yet it all started the moment they walked into your life. Fated connections don't create obsession. They create reflection, awareness, and personal growth. A destined love leaves fingerprints all over the quiet parts of your life. You find yourself thinking of them, not out of loneliness or neediness, but because some part of you recognizes there's still a lesson left unlearned, a piece of growth only they could have sparked. You notice their presence in your mind during moments of deep self-reflection, during emotional breakthroughs, during the quiet stillness of a late night when the whole world feels silent. This isn't attachment. This is integration, the quiet, meaningful way their influence weaves itself into who you're becoming. You uncover lessons you never even realized you were missing. Slowly, without any conscious effort on your part, your entire life starts shifting in ways that prepare you for a deeper form of love and connection. And still, nobody can ever truly replace a fated connection. People try anyway. They jump into new relationships, distract themselves, convince themselves they've moved on completely. But something always feels unfinished. Not because the new person doesn't have value, but because they simply don't spark that same level of growth. A destined love operates on an entirely different frequency. It was never about comfort or attraction in the first place. It's about evolution, about pushing both people toward wholeness, unlocking lessons that an ordinary relationship could never reach. You can't force it into being, you can't recreate it with someone else, and you can't substitute it because its entire purpose reaches far beyond simple companionship. It exists to push you, to teach you, to transform both people caught up in it. During the time apart, fate keeps working quietly but powerfully on each person individually. One learns to hold boundaries, the other learns to take responsibility. One builds self-respect, the other builds emotional courage. One learns to stop chasing what can't be controlled, and the other learns to stop running from what has to be faced. Neither one can see the whole picture yet, and that's completely intentional. The universe keeps that full understanding hidden until both people have grown enough to actually handle the love that's waiting for them. This entire process is exact, deliberate, and necessary. It guarantees that when these two paths eventually cross again, the bond isn't temporary anymore. It becomes something lasting, something transformative, built on the foundation of two people who've actually evolved. Before two destined people can reunite, every illusion has to be stripped away first. Every false belief about love gets dismantled piece by piece. Beliefs like love is supposed to be effortless, or that real care means someone would never walk away, all of that has to go. Ideas like having to earn love or needing someone else to feel complete, those are weak, hollow substitutes for genuine connection. Fate clears these illusions out carefully, honestly, and usually through discomfort. Every tear you cry, every moment of longing, every heavy day along the way is doing something. This clearing process matters because real love was never meant to be built on fear or dependency. It's built on awareness, on conscious choice, and on genuine growth. A destined love isn't about needing someone to survive emotionally, it's about choosing them freely from a place where you're already whole. The shift happens quietly. There's a moment where you simply stop needing them, where you stop chasing love out of fear or scarcity. That's the exact point where destiny starts moving again, when both people can finally stand fully on their own 2 feet. Love turns into a conscious decision instead of a survival mechanism. Alignment starts to happen. Love, at this stage, isn't anxious or desperate or clingy anymore. It turns into something calm and intentional, something that naturally draws the right people together. This is the moment the universe finally lets 2 souls' paths cross again, ready for something real. When the people who were meant to find each other again actually reconnect, the whole experience feels noticeably different from before. There's less tension, less fear, and a lot less ego involved. The connection feels calmer, deeper, more self-aware. Not perfect, but intentional. All the confusion, the mind games, the uncertainty that used to surround the relationship no longer runs the show. What's left is a sense of recognition that feels even stronger than it did the first time. And even if the 2 people never come back together, the connection still mattered. Not every destined relationship is meant to last a lifetime. Some exist purely to break patterns you inherited, to wake up your sense of self-worth, to build your emotional resilience, or to redirect the entire trajectory of your life. Its purpose was never permanence. It was transformation. Destiny often feels brutal before it feels kind, because it cares more about your growth than your comfort. It might cause a broken heart before it lets you lose yourself completely in attachment. It removes people from your life before it lets you disappear into them. The lessons can feel harsh in the moment, but understanding always shows up eventually, given enough time. One truth never changes. When 2 people are genuinely meant to share a bond, they're usually required to grow apart first. False beliefs get stripped away, inner battles get faced, and hearts get reshaped into something healthier and stronger. Only after all of that does fate allow either a reunion or a new direction entirely. Either way, neither person walks away unchanged. If you're reading this and someone's face just popped into your mind, let these words settle in. If it's meant to come back, it'll return with calm, not chaos. If it's genuinely aligned, it will never ask you to abandon who you are. It will only ever ask you to grow. And if it doesn't come back, that outcome is still a gift, one that's guiding you toward the person you were always supposed to become. Every separation, every stretch of uncertainty, every painful lesson is a meaningful piece of the bigger journey. Destiny never wastes an experience. It prepares you, shapes you, and elevates you so that whether love shows up or life redirects you somewhere else entirely, you're ready to meet it with a heart that's open and matured. Destined connections are some of the deepest mysteries life has to offer, and they almost never unfold the way we expect. When 2 people are truly aligned, the universe doesn't rush them into comfort or certainty. Instead, it challenges them, it separates them, and it drags forward every part of themselves they've spent years avoiding. The pain of that distance isn't a punishment. It's part of the design. It forces each person to confront their fears, their insecurities, and their unresolved wounds. This whole process teaches emotional accountability, self-respect, and the ability to love fully without becoming dependent. Every tear shed, every stretch of longing, every wave of confusion plays a role in this hidden formation. Even during the silence, even without any contact at all, the growth never stops. You become more discerning, more self-aware, more honest with yourself. And the lessons you gain during these stretches were never really about the other person. They were always about you. A destined love was never about immediate happiness or ease. It's about growth, about shaping two whole individuals capable of holding a deep, conscious, authentic connection together. When fate finally allows a reunion, it doesn't come with chaos or insecurity or ego driving the bus. Instead, the bond turns calmer, clearer, more intentional. And even if a reunion never actually happens, its impact still remains powerful, guiding both people towards self-realization and emotional maturity. Every separation, every heartbreak, every hard lesson holds real value. Each experience prepares you to eventually meet the highest form of love, the kind that aligns with the person you're becoming. Genuine destiny never wastes an experience. It makes sure every single challenge serves a purpose, waking up your inner strength and preparing you for the love that's meant for you specifically. A destined love can't be rushed, forced, or manufactured. It shows up quietly and often in ways that feel uncomfortable at first because it was never built for instant satisfaction. Its whole purpose is transformation. The people who are meant to leave a deep mark on your life will challenge you, disrupt the patterns you've grown comfortable with, and expose parts of yourself you may have hidden, even from your own awareness. You might not feel ready for them when they first show up, and the universe might create distance that feels almost unbearable. But that distance exists for a reason. It teaches patience, independence, and emotional honesty. You start noticing how you may have been searching for love outside of yourself this whole time. Slowly, you begin looking for wholeness within instead. Every moment of longing, every sleepless night, every reflection on what could have been is shaping you into someone capable of receiving love in its highest possible form. Real, destined connections don't create obsession. They create awareness. They push you to reflect on your values, your boundaries, and your capacity for vulnerability. You start craving depth instead of distraction, meaning instead of temporary attention. Even if the other person never comes back, the growth they sparked in you sticks around, shaping how you relate to yourself and to the world for the rest of your life. In that sense, fate is both gentle and demanding at once. It takes away comfort in order to hand you clarity, strips away illusion to reveal the truth, and challenges your heart so it can finally become whole. When two destined people do reunite, the connection feels completely different from before. There's no frantic chasing, no games, no uncertainty hanging over it. Instead, there's a calm, intentional love built on shared growth. The anxiety that used to define the relationship gets replaced by understanding and clarity. Each person has been reshaped by the distance and the challenges they faced, and now they're finally capable of offering honesty and presence without fear attached. This is the kind of love destiny has been preparing you for the entire time. Not some fleeting romance, but a bond that strengthens and elevates both people involved. And if a reunion never happens, that still fulfills destiny's purpose. Some connections exist purely to break old patterns, wake up your self-respect, and teach you emotional depth. They matter, not because they last forever, but because they guide you toward the person you were always meant to become. Their influence sticks with you, woven permanently into your growth, your decisions, and your heart. A destined love was never about needing someone or feeling completed by them. It's about choosing each other freely from a place of inner fullness. It teaches you to stop running from discomfort and to stop chasing approval. It demands self-reflection and emotional courage, pushing both people to face their shadows and evolve. Pain isn't a punishment here, it's a tool, a catalyst for change. Through it, you learn exactly what real love actually requires: patience, awareness, and the willingness to keep growing even when the road feels lonely or unclear. Every separation, every challenge, every lesson is a step closer to alignment. Destiny reshapes you, not for quick comfort, but for the kind of love that lasts because it's built on clarity, growth, and conscious choice. Destined connections operate on a level most people never fully grasp. They were never about ease, comfort, or instant happiness. They exist to wake up parts of you that have been sitting dormant or hidden for years. When you meet someone who's genuinely destined for you, it feels like a mirror gets held right up to your inner self. All the parts of your personality you've ignored, denied, or pushed to the side suddenly get reflected back to you with total clarity. That experience can feel unsettling because it forces you to face truths you've probably been avoiding for a long time. You start recognizing patterns in your own behavior, fears you've been carrying around, and the ways you've limited your own ability to love fully. The pain of losing this kind of connection is nothing like ordinary heartbreak. It cuts deeper, not because the other person was wrong for you, but because they were activating your growth. They reveal exactly where healing needs to happen, which boundaries need to be set, and what self-respect needs to be claimed. Every ache, every longing, every memory becomes a lesson in transformation, guiding you closer to the person you're meant to become. During this stretch of distance, life teaches patience, resilience, and self-awareness. You start observing yourself without distraction, learning to understand your own needs and desires instead of projecting them onto someone else. A destined connection transforms you from within, healing old beliefs and preparing both people to choose love consciously from a place of growth, authenticity, and wholeness. Once that balance is reached, the two paths might merge again, this time shaped by clarity, maturity, and shared growth. And even if a reunion never comes, the purpose still gets fulfilled. Every lesson, every loss, every reflection is preparation, making sure each person moves closer to their highest potential. A destined love reshapes the way you approach relationships, life, and yourself. It teaches emotional responsibility, courage, and the importance of showing up authentically. It forces you to stop hiding from fear and stop searching for validation outside of yourself. Dependency and shallow desire fall away, making room for love that's intentional and conscious. When reunion actually happens, it's calm, grounded, and honest. When it doesn't, the connection still guides your journey forward, pointing you toward growth, self-awareness, and the life you were always supposed to live. Every moment of confusion, every tear, every stretch of longing serves a purpose. Destiny makes sure that no connection ever goes to waste. It might feel harsh before it feels kind, but its results run deep and last a lifetime. Destined connections stand apart from everything else because they're never defined by convenience, comfort, or how fast they move. They exist on a much deeper level, reaching straight into the core of who you are and pushing you toward growth. From the moment these connections enter your life, they act as a catalyst for self-awareness, forcing you to face parts of yourself you've ignored for far too long. This process is never comfortable. The universe pulls you apart from them again and again, not as some kind of punishment, but as preparation. What you feel in their absence isn't just about missing another person. It's the realization that something inside you is still unfinished, unsettled, or unhealed. That's exactly why the pain of this kind of separation feels nothing like an ordinary breakup. It shakes your sense of stability, unsettles your emotions, and demands a level of self-examination that typical relationships almost never require. During these periods apart, change starts happening quietly. Your understanding of love, attachment, and personal boundaries begins to shift. Qualities you used to accept or overlook start feeling completely misaligned with who you're becoming. You stop chasing connections that can't meet you at this new, higher level of awareness. Instead, you start valuing authenticity, depth, and emotional honesty over surface-level approval. Moments of quiet reflection, still evenings, or time spent alone become opportunities to absorb and apply the lessons this connection brought into your life. This growth might not be visible from the outside, but it's significant. It's a slow shaping of your heart, your mindset, your emotional foundation, preparing you to reconnect with clarity and responsibility if reunion ever happens. A destined love isn't rooted in dependence, it's sustained by choice. Real connection forms when both people are whole within themselves, when love becomes a conscious desire instead of a need. When ego finally loosens its grip and the inner self chooses freely, the universe strips away false beliefs like the idea that love has to be earned or that wholeness depends on another person. Those beliefs distort real connection, and they have to dissolve. These lessons are hard, sometimes deeply painful, but they're necessary. They build emotional strength, self-respect, and the ability to love without fear or clinging. This is exactly why destined love can feel harsh before it feels supportive. It puts your long-term growth above short-term comfort. It breaks old emotional patterns before it allows true expansion, making sure that when love returns, it comes with awareness, depth, and integrity intact. When a destined connection finally does return, it's unmistakable. There's no manipulation, no insecurity, no desperate chasing involved. The bond feels stable, balanced, and intentional. Both people have gone through their own internal transformation, becoming capable of both giving and receiving love in a healthy way. And even if the reunion never happens at all, the meaning of that connection stays intact. It has already fulfilled its higher purpose, to spark growth, awaken self-worth, break inherited cycles, and guide your life toward its highest possible direction. Every moment of pain, confusion, and quiet reflection has served that exact purpose. Destiny makes sure no connection exists without meaning. Every experience guides you closer to completeness and prepares you for the love or the lessons you were always meant to receive. Certain connections exist to teach lessons that go far beyond romance or companionship. They reveal exactly who you are at your deepest level. They push you to face your fears, your repeated patterns, and the false beliefs that have kept you stuck in cycles of longing or unsatisfying relationships. When the universe puts distance between two people who are meant to learn from each other, it's never done out of cruelty. It's done with purpose. That space gives each person room to grow individually, to heal wounds that could otherwise damage the connection, and to build the emotional maturity required to actually sustain it. This process is rarely easy. It can feel like your heart is being stretched, tested, or even broken. But every ache, every moment of confusion, is proof that growth is happening. That separation is shaping you, strengthening your capacity to love and preparing you to fully show up when the timing finally lines up. If this brought you something meaningful, take a second to sit with it. Every idea shared here was meant to guide you toward deeper awareness and real personal growth. If it resonated with you, hit like on this video. It helps more people find it. Consider sharing it with someone who might need to hear this today, someone who could use these truths about love, destiny, and inner transformation. And subscribe to the channel so you never miss what's coming next. More guidance, more inspiration, more reflection. Your support is what allows us to keep creating content that has the power to genuinely change lives. And for that, we're truly grateful. Thank you for being here.